What's that? Axe made 2 videos in 1 week? That's impossible. How could that ever happen? It's inconceivable. Like I said before, it's impossible. Yes, this is going to be the first entry in the Ackernews series, as I've started calling it, I guess, on my own. But I've been thinking about doing something like this for a while now, but I really wasn't sure where it was going to fit into my schedule. Like, when would I make it? How would I produce it? What would I do with it? And, how people would react to it. But I figured, may as well give it a shot, see what happens. And that's what we're doing right now. So I'm hoping we're going to be able to do this once every week on Saturday or Sunday, depending on how things kind of roll out. I don't really know how my schedule is going to be every single week. So, some weeks it might be Saturday, some weeks Sunday, some weeks there might be no news. Who knows? Depends on what we're going to be working on that specific week. But the hope is that we'll be able to put out a video on Wednesday and then news on Saturday or Sunday. That's my hope. Also, if you like this video, this style of doing things, this sort of news roundup type deal that we're going to be doing here, let me know so that I know if I should continue doing it or if I should stop. But without further ado, let's get into our first bit of news here. And I think we should start off with something a little bit light, because there's going to be some pretty divisive topics going forward. So let's start things out nice and happy, nice and good news, mostly good news, pretty good news. We're going to be talking about Super Monkey Ball Banana Mania and the characters that they've been introducing over the last week or so. As I'm sure some of you are already aware, Super Monkey Ball Banana Mania is going to be the next entry in the Monkey Ball series. That's kind of like a mashup of Super Monkey Ball and Super Monkey Ball 2 and Super Monkey Ball Deluxe. And it's going to be releasing on October 5th, I believe. So over the last, I guess, not really this week, but just over the last couple of months, they've been announcing a bunch of characters, and over the last week, they've talked about like a bunch in particular that are pretty interesting to me, at least. The 3 most notable of these newly announced characters are probably Morgana from Persona 5. That was pretty out there. Hello Kitty, which was really out there. And then Suezo from Monster Rancher, which was very interesting to see. That's a pretty old series. Good to see some representation there. One thing you'll notice is that these 3 characters are all collaboration characters, I believe, with other studios, other developers. So that's really interesting to see. So that means we may be getting other DLC characters from other genres, other developers, other companies down the road, which could be pretty interesting. I'd personally like to see maybe some representation from like the Dragon Quest series, or maybe some old platformers like Banjo-Kazooie. That would be pretty cool. Like, instead of collecting bananas, you collect music notes or jiggies or something. That would be really cool, but I'm not holding my breath on that, obviously. Now, there's one pretty big issue with these characters that a lot of people have been bringing up over the last week or so, and that is that they're all DLC characters that you have to pay extra money for after release. But it seems like they're all already done, so why are they not just in the base game? That's a little bit sketchy, if I had to say, but I understand how gaming companies like to monetize their games at this point. I've seen enough stuff at this point to know how things work. I'm not really too surprised by this. I mean, obviously I would much prefer they were actually just in the base game. That would be ideal. But they did announce some other characters alongside these that they're not collaboration characters, but they're just like other skins of the original characters, it seems like. So those are in the base game as far as I'm aware, and at least there's that. So that kind of lessens the blow a little bit, but you're still gonna have to pay extra if you want these other characters. Now, I probably won't be buying them because I don't really want to support this type of thing, but I'm sure a lot of people out there will buy it, so who knows in the end, right? But other than that, I'm pretty excited for Super Monkey Ball Banana Mania. It does seem like a really good game, and there are a lot of characters in the base game, so I am really excited for the game, and I think it's going to be really fun, but obviously we're going to have to wait and see for October 5th when the game actually comes out, and maybe I'll do a review on it. Who knows? We'll see. Now, moving on to our next bit of news here. This is something that came out just today as of recording this video. And that is the Horizon Forbidden West situation that's been going on. I don't know if anyone else out there has heard of this, but there's going to be sort of a little bit of a snag for those people who really wanted to get the free upgrade from PS4 to PS5 after the game launched. According to a blog post by Sony that detailed the various editions of Horizon Forbidden West that will be up for pre-order pretty soon, I believe, or maybe even now, For players looking to have access to both the PS4 and PS5 versions of Horizon Forbidden West, please purchase the Digital Deluxe, Collector's, or Regala editions. Dual entitlement does not apply to the Standard and Special editions. So what that basically means is that you're going to have to pay extra for the upgraded editions of this game in order to have access to both the PS4 and PS5 editions with just having bought a single game. Otherwise you have to buy one on PS4 and PS5. Another thing to note is that these are the digital editions of the game. There are no sort of ways to get a physical version of the game for PS4 or PS5 and get a physical version on the other, or even a digital version on the other. And this all comes after Sony and Guerrilla promised that there would be a free upgrade for Horizon Forbidden West from PS4 to PS5, or vice versa, back in a blog post a while back. So it does seem a little bit sketchy, a little bit like kind of going back on promises. Not the greatest thing to see. I know that for me, and probably a lot of people out there, it's been pretty hard to find a PS5 as of late, at least at MSRP. And this whole sort of situation with being unable to get a free upgrade from PS4 to PS5 kind of rubs a little bit of salt in the wound, if you will. Just definitely not a very good look, in my opinion. It feels to me like they're taking advantage of the fact that there are certain people out there who can't find a PS5, and they just want to kind of wring them out for a little bit of extra money. It's just a little bit scummy. There's always the option of just buying the PS5 version, the base version, and just waiting until you can get a PS5. But I know there's a lot of people out there who really don't want to wait that long and maybe just want to play the game now on PS4 and then re-experience it on PS5, or then just switch whenever they get one. And now they have to pay a little bit of extra money on top just to be able to switch from one console to the next. And for me, that seems like a really low blow, if you will. Based on what we've seen with previous controversies of this nature, it wouldn't be impossible that Sony and Guerrilla may go back on this a ways down the line, but you never know. They may just stick to their guns like they have on some other things, and you know, some people are just going to be out of luck. They got to pay a little bit extra, or they got to wait. But that's the current situation surrounding Horizon Forbidden West. Next up, let's talk about something a little bit lighter and something that's actually a bit of good news. Nintendo has announced a new entry in the Big Brain Academy series known as Big Brain Academy Brain vs. Brain. It seems like the focus of this entry in the series is going to be on competitive mini-games that sort of heighten your brain something. It does something with your brain. I don't know exactly what it's supposed to do, but it's supposed to make you smarter, I guess. Now, I played Big Brain Academy on the Nintendo DS a very long time ago, years and years ago at this point. Decade ago, more than that. And I enjoyed it as far as I can remember. And so I'm pretty excited for this new entry in the series. It seems like it's going to be pretty interesting, and it could be sort of a fun party game to play. Maybe, I don't really know if I'm going to use it to sort of try to make myself smarter, but I guess we'll have to see what the actual results of the game are when it comes out. Sticking with Nintendo for this next bit of news, we got to talk about this situation with the Game Boy on the Switch. It's getting a little bit out of hand, if you will, at this point. Now, these rumors have been going on for a very long time at this point, years probably, and people have always been saying, you know, the Game Boy's got to be on the Switch, Game Boy Advance, get it on the Switch, get it on the Switch. Oh, it's coming, it's coming. It seems like this sort of batch of rumors has a little bit more credence to it, as it's been corroborated by Eurogamer based on what I saw on Twitter, but still, I am not holding my breath. I am not sort of getting my hopes up. I don't really know what to say at this point. It doesn't really seem like something that's gonna happen, but you know, maybe Nintendo will surprise me. I hope they do. I hope they do, but I guess we'll just have to see. It really doesn't seem like it would be that hard of a thing to do in order to, you know, sort of port a bunch of Game Boy games. All you gotta do is really just build an emulator for the Game Boy, which they probably already have the base for anyway, and then you just have to sort of get the ROMs on there, get the games on the Switch. That's all you really got to do. But I don't want to get my hopes up. I really don't. Just because a gaming publication sort of backed the story doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to come true, as we've seen in the past, like with the Switch Pro. Sometimes there's just bad information. Sometimes people that they talk to just literally lie to them, or they just tell them something. They say, oh, yeah, you know, I know Nintendo. My dad works at Nintendo. So I really don't want to get my hopes up, and I don't think that you should get yours up either. If it does happen, you know, that's just a pleasant surprise then. Just don't expect it to happen is all I want to say. But let's get off this topic before we get even deeper into this and I get even more heated. Let's move on to something that's gonna, probably heat me up a bit more, but, we'll talk about it anyway. Now, this was posted on Twitter by someone going by the name of Matt Peprocky, if I'm saying that correctly. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name. He tweeted saying, "Friend got this dead serious message on eBay. The game collecting market is a catastrophe now." That's word for word. And he posts a sort of screenshot, a cropping of something that his friend allegedly, and I'm emphasizing allegedly here, got messaged on eBay from some sort of other seller of a certain retro game. He doesn't mention what game it is. And this message says, "Hi, I would like to take a moment to see if you would consider raising the price. Now, before you write me off, hear me out. You see, there are very few copies of this game in circulation, and we as owners of the game each individually hold a high percentage share of the market value, given that less than 5,000 copies of the game were actually released to the public. You could even make a comparison to OPEC in this case. We have full control of the supply and demand of this game. Currently, your game is priced a bit lower than the next lowest price on the market for a CIB copy, which hovers around $270. I'm not requiring you to do anything, but I would like to highly encourage you to increase the price to at least $270. It is my belief that this is in the best interest of yourself as well as the few select owners of this title. If we can collaborate together, we can drive up the price to a more reasonable value that is more representative of this title's rarity. I hope this message finds you well, and thank you for your time. In due time, we can achieve a profitable outcome. Sincerely," he doesn't give the name. Alright, so first things first, this may not be something that was actually sent to somebody on eBay. This could obviously just be something that this guy just made up and just wrote and then expects everyone to believe is on eBay. The tweet did get a bit of traction, got 15,000 likes at the time of looking at this. So he could have just been like trying to get some clout, get some attention. You never know. But either way, this is still sort of representative of how the retro game market is trending at this current juncture, if you will, based on what we've been seeing with all this sort of raising of the prices going up, people, rich people buying old video games and trying to sell them for a ton of money and stuff like that. Essentially treating video games like stocks and bonds as opposed to just video games, like literally just games, things for having fun. And obviously this does not rub me the right way as someone who likes to collect retro video games. That's one of my biggest passions, is just, collecting video games, playing video games, and, just enjoying games. And so seeing this sort of approach to collecting games just really, really gets me heated. But at least I can have some sort of solace in the fact that there's no possible way that this trend can continue. There's just no way. The games that people are, claiming are worth, millions and millions of dollars just are not worth that much money. They're just not. Like, if you know anything about retro video games, they're just not worth that amount of money. Like, especially, Super Mario Bros. On the NES sealed. I mean, obviously, it's a pretty rare copy to have it sealed, but it's just still not worth that much money based solely on the amount of copies that the game is sold. I don't know. There's just no way that this can last for the foreseeable future. Some people may just be going in as a sort of pump and dump, just buy out a bunch, try to make some money, and then get out. But at the very least, it's not going to last very long. It just can't. All right, and now the last big piece of news that I'd like to talk about for this week is the PS5 Revision and all the sort of controversy going on with that and how it may be hotter, it may not be hotter, all that stuff. Now, I believe the first person to sort of bring this information to the public's attention was a YouTuber by the name of Austin Evans, I believe. And he sort of did some tests with the PS5 Revision that he happened to get from Sony, I'm assuming. And he sort of, lined them up, did some weight tests, opened them both up to check the differences, and he checked the heat output on the fans on both of the units. And based on his tests, there was a heat output difference of a few degrees between the two units, the Revision being slightly hotter. At least the air coming out the back of the PS5 was slightly hotter. Now, this doesn't necessarily mean that the system is worse necessarily. It could just mean that it's actually running better because it's getting the hot air out. You really need to sort of get the heat from the actual chips on the inside, the actual interior of the unit, in order to really tell if it's actually getting hotter on the inside and not just getting the hot air out. It also seems like Sony switched out the heatsink of the unit for a different material, which may actually be a worse material because the original was copper and the new seems to be some sort of other metallic material, but you never know. Either way, I'm sure Sony has done significant testing on the unit and it's probably fine, and even just a few degrees increase in temperature probably won't be, honestly, any issue at all for it, even if it was getting hotter on the inside. It's probably still within their, allowable range. Honestly, the most surprising thing about all of this to me was that Sony decided to actually release a revision to the PS5 this early on in production, even during a sort of time where there's no PS5s to be found anywhere and they're pretty scarce. Why would they now choose to make a revision to the PS5? It doesn't really seem like enough was changed to sort of merit making an entirely new unit during production and sort of throwing everything off even further. I mean, maybe that's what's going to happen, maybe it's not, I don't really know, because it doesn't really seem like they changed things that would actually affect the sort of ability to create more PS5s. It seems like they changed things that were pretty readily available, like the heatsink and the fan, as opposed to like the actual silicon components. Like, that's the stuff that was actually supposedly in demand and sort of in a shortage right now. But I guess only time will tell. We'll see how this actually plays out, and if the actual stock of the PS5 will go up, maybe it'll go down, we don't know, but we'll see. But before we end things off here, I'd like to sort of do one little fun segment to end off on, because there's been some pretty heavy topics, pretty divisive topics, like I said before. And this segment is called the Gamer of the Week. In this segment, we're going to be looking at one special gamer who sort of rose above the rest, if you will. And, that was in the news this week, someone special. And for this week, for the first edition entry of Ackernews, we're going to be looking at a dentist. I found this guy on Twitter from a post by Nintendo enthusiasts linking to their article talking about this guy and his sort of interesting way that he likes to sort of run his office, if you will, how he's offering to clean your teeth. Let's just watch the video together.
Do you have what it takes to beat me in Smash? Go against me on a one-on-one. If you win, you get a free dental cleaning. If you lose, you have to tell the whole world that you lost to a dentist.
Okay, so that guy is Dr. Tej A. Shah, and he runs the Zen Family Dental Clinic in Ashland, Massachusetts. As you saw in the video, he is offering to give you a free dental cleaning if you're able to beat him in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate for the Nintendo Switch in his office. He's got the whole setup, he's got the TV on the wall, he's got Smash ready. You can play him while you're in the dental chair. But it's honestly a pretty good strategy to get kids in there doing, getting your teeth clean. It'll probably work, and it's been really good. He's got a bunch of views on the video and a lot of likes on Twitter so far, and obviously got an article written about him, so I think it's working, and hopefully things work out for my boy, Dr. Tej A. Shah. You are this week's Gamer of the Week, the first Gamer of the Week ever. It's Dr. Tej A. Shah. He is a true gamer, and I will not have anyone saying otherwise. He seems like a pretty cool guy, and, it may be a pretty weird concept to have, a free cleaning for, winning a game of Super Smash Bros. Of all things, but, I hope it works out for him, and I wish him the best, and, hopefully, the whole viral marketing thing works out for him. He seems like he's getting a lot of traction, so the sky's the limit. And with that, I think we just about wrapped up the first ever edition of Ackernews. And it's been a pretty long one. We're almost at 19 minutes at this point, and I honestly had a really great time. I thought it was really fun going over these different topics, talking about the Gamer of the Week, talking about, this and that. So if you guys enjoyed seeing this type of video, definitely let me know, and I would love to make more videos like this, so hopefully I'll be able to do that going forward. But if you did enjoy today's video, consider giving it a like. It's always greatly appreciated and helps me out a ton. And if you want to see more content like this in the future, consider subscribing as well. Thanks for watching, everybody, and I'll see you in the next one. Ack out. Dr. Shah, I'm calling you out. 1v1, Super Smash Bros., me and you. Final destination, no items, none of that nonsense. Get that out of here. No final smashes. Just pure tournament rules. 1v1. Let's go.